You're listening to the Better Women series of Matters of Engagement. We're a podcast examining issues at the intersection of health, healthcare, and society. I'm Jennifer Johannesson.
And I'm Emily Nicholas Angle.
We're excited to bring you this special 5-part series in collaboration with the Canadian Cancer Society and Women's College Hospital. As you'll soon learn, they joined forces to address one of the pressing issues facing both public health and primary care medicine, and that is how to support people in preventing chronic disease through lifestyle behavior change.
Stay with us for a journey through the Better Women Research Project, and we'll learn together about its potential for positive impact on the health of Canadians everywhere.
Welcome back. This is episode 3 of 5, where we get to the very heart of the Better Women Project and we hear from the peer health coaches themselves.
We spent a lot of time with the scientists and evaluators on this project. And honestly, as much as their work is, of course, vitally important, we agree with them that really the heavy lifting for Better Women was done by the peer health coaches.
As part of the Better Women study, the peer health coaches each supported women patients who were enrolled in the study as participants, individually on a weekly basis. Some had more participants than others, depending on their availability. This episode is dedicated to hearing and understanding the experiences and insights of the peer health coaches. What drew them to volunteering for this project? What was their training like? And what sorts of experiences did they have once they were enrolled? And what they hope might come next, now that they have these health coaching skills.
So something we heard a lot throughout these conversations was that although the peer health coaches needed and appreciated the training, they were also really drawn to the work organically. Some of them even said they were kind of already coaching their friends and families informally for years. One had been a physician in her home country and was accustomed to talking to friends and family about their health conditions. But this training gave them something extra, a more effective approach to giving support, and also a way to think about boundaries. They're now better able to provide help without depleting themselves.
Yes, which is why the training was especially important. Throughout this episode, we're going to hear from a number of peer health coaches, and we're also including the voice of Dr. Jackie Bender woven throughout. Dr. Bender was responsible for developing and overseeing the training program as part of the Better Women Research Project. She helps us navigate the ins and outs of what it takes to get something like this up and running. And we're also going to hear from Christina Macri, Senior Specialist in Cancer Prevention at the Canadian Cancer Society. She starts us off by setting the stage as to why the work of peer health coaches is so important.
These patients are going to their doctor and their prevention practitioner, and they say, okay, I want to change this in my life. And they make these goals with their doctor. And sometimes in the healthcare field these days and in the healthcare industry, when they go to the doctor, they may feel rushed and want to try to get everything in this one appointment. And the doctor's like, okay, here are your goals. On to the next, kind of. And that's sometimes they may feel like that. And these women are like, okay, I have these things I want to do, but I don't know how to do them. Now what? And that's where the peer health coach role really comes in, because it's somebody that is just working with them and has attention on them, can call them, text them kind of whenever they need, and really is that listener for them and also to help them have the next steps.
This gap that Christina describes between getting medical advice and actually implementing it, well, that's where the peer health coaches step in. This wasn't a casual volunteer program. Their training was extensive.
Dr. Jackie Bender was the lead scientist evaluating the training curriculum as well as training implementation. She explains just how comprehensive the preparation and training really is, and breaks down the science behind peer support, which has the backing of the World Health Organization.
More and more, the WHO over a decade now has been highlighting the importance of peers and peer support in improving health and improving access to health services and addressing the healthcare workers shortage. A peer health coach is being trained to support people in setting goals to help change their behavior to improve their health. Health coaching knowledge and health coaching skills as a specific skill set. So we had all that content specific to that. And then there'd be some overlap in content with respect to communications training.
We're talking about real training here, real skills. But who becomes a peer health coach? What draws someone to this role? Well, here's Lena Palmer. She's relatively new to Canada and found this program while looking for ways to engage with her community. It shows how this program creates connections in both directions. Coaches find community while helping others find their path to better health.
I'm relatively new in Canada. It's been about 2 years since I moved here. I was looking for ways to meet people, bring some value, connect. And when I saw this opportunity, I thought it was great. You can do something like serving in the food bank, whatever, which is great. But I thought this opportunity helps to use some skills that I'm interested in to share, some life experience. So I thought that kind of like all came together really nicely. And I had some reservations, in terms of it talked about lived experience, maybe similar experience. So I was like, am I the right fit for something like this? But then we had a couple interviews, and obviously I'm on my second participant now. And yeah, I think everyone has a fit. And also, I think I'm trying to connect more on a coaching level rather than maybe lived experience. There is some of that too. There is an element of that we share some lived experience, but I'm exercising this more on a coaching level where you're almost like a therapist or a coach, and you don't necessarily have the same lived experience, but you try to help in other ways.
Now let's hear from Sabat Tosif, who has a different background. She's an international physician who found this program while navigating her own career transition in Canada.
The reason why I initially joined the Better Women Health program was because of my background as an international physician. I was initially looking for opportunities to, kind of expand my horizons in Canada, kind of meet new people, as well as gain more health experience in Canada. Although it's not directly related to health, but it is somewhat related to my field in terms of health coaching. The training indeed proved to be very intensive. At one point, I was beginning to think maybe this is too much for me to handle with a full-time job that I'm doing right now, as well as a coaching. But eventually, I think it was like fourth or fifth session when they introduced the motivational interviewing module, and that really inspired me.
Motivational interviewing was new to Sabat. Much like medical training in North America, her own training was focused on seeing patients for their ailments and prescribing medications. She found that the training changed how she approaches her everyday interactions, not just with participants, but with all her relationships.
It was really intriguing because when I started applying this in my, day-to-day life, it really helped me connect with people. I was able to make more friends. I was able to understand my kids even in a much better way. It really inspired me to become better.
Motivational interviewing. This seems to be one of the magic ingredients. Dr. Bender saw this reaction from coaches all the time. The communication skills they learned really transformed how they relate to everyone in their lives, not just the research participants. It's kind of like getting a masterclass in human connection. Dr. Bender explains why this particular skill set is so powerful.
The other thing that I saw is how much that the PhDs really enjoyed the motivational interviewing content and training. That was something that they thought was very practical, that provided them with a sense of confidence, that they had some communication skills that they could sort of lean back on to help them move someone through a conversation and help them move towards achieving those health goals. And that's where they really did say, hey, I find this really helpful just in my day-to-day relationships.
So some peer health coaches came to this because it's kind of a continuation of their professional work. And some of them came to this work through their own health journey. Christine Brucaleri is a breast cancer survivor. Her path to becoming a peer health coach was deeply personal.
So in 2015, I was diagnosed with a extremely aggressive strain of breast cancer, and I went through an aggressive treatment regime of chemo, a double mastectomy, and radiation. And I didn't have any breast cancer history in my family at all. This obviously was very, very shocking. But the reason that this program spoke to me is I kind of, from that experience, felt that it was now my purpose to serve other women based on what I had gone through. I just want women to realize the importance of self-care and to focus on health goals that could maybe prevent them from getting chronic disease. And if I can helpfully save one woman from the experience that I went through, then I can just drop the mic.
Listening to Christine, you can tell it's so rewarding being a peer health coach, knowing you're potentially making such a big impact.
Yeah. And the way to get there doesn't have to be complicated. It can be found in the day-to-day stuff, too. Nalini Sharma, another peer health coach, talks about being a sounding board and a helpful resource.
I can't help them navigate their life on a day-to-day because I don't know what they're going through. But I try to give them the tools to set them up so that they can make the right choice, given that the particular situation, and just to be a sounding board for them as well, to hear what, they were doing in the week, what goals they set for themselves, what they feel they accomplished. And the participants that I had, their goals were not really dramatic or drastic. They just wanted to live a slightly healthier lifestyle. One of my participants, she was embarrassed to go to, a group class. So she wanted to just feel better about herself, get moving, be able to do certain things so that she could join a group class.
Talking to the peer health coaches revealed how these relationships can benefit both sides. Gunjan Gupta shares how being a coach actually motivates her own health journey.
In 2001, being new to this country, I was very young at that time, came from a very big family, it was a very drastic change for me here, being lonely. So I had a past history of stress, depression, anxiety, PT, postpartum depression and all that stuff. So I didn't know how should I get myself involved in these wellness and healthy programs. So then I started doing walking, and then I came to this yoga sessions, and I started doing gym. So the reason why I like this program is because it motivates me as well. When I connect to the participant, I feel like if I'm suggesting her, I should do that too. So if I'm telling her that you should introduce more veggies and fruits in your diets, that's what I'm following for myself too. So basically, we're motivated with each other. We connected so well. We talked about the kids as well. It gave me an opportunity to connect to different people. So this program gave me a platform to learn about myself, to help other people. So I'm motivating myself and I'm motivating my participants as well.
It's interesting. With all this connection and shared experience, I imagine it can feel like a delicate balance, figuring out where the professional boundaries are.
Exactly. Nalini has some really thoughtful insights about keeping relationships professional while still being genuinely supportive.
I always try to keep the relationship professional, but at the same time, there is, that we have a connection between one another. And it never really turned into, at least with the participants that I worked with, I don't feel we ever really crossed any, personal boundaries where, they're complaining about their family or husbands or telling me personal information that maybe I shouldn't know. It was really about what the goal they had set up. We discussed the goal and we would dive right into it. How did you achieve it? What did you do? Where do you feel you could have improved over the past week? So I really tried to stick to that.
And this is an intuitive boundary setting. Dr. Bender explains that this comprehensive training program anticipates some of these issues and prepares coaches for potentially complex relationships.
This isn't a sort of afternoon of training. This is 5 weeks of, depending on how long they spend going through the online content, 2 to 5 hours a week of learning that they're doing. Really interactive. What I really appreciated hearing about is how much they enjoy doing this as a group. So they really liked that sort of active collaborative learning. They really enjoyed forming relationships with the other peer health coaches and learning as a group with the other peer health coaches, and appreciated the different expertise and knowledge that the other peer health coaches brought to the training, and the perspectives that they brought to the activities that they completed as part of the training.
The collaborative learning aspect seems essential. These coaches are learning alongside each other, bringing different perspectives and expertise to the group to enrich everyone's understanding.
Nalini talks about the clear guidelines they receive. There's an interesting balance between sharing lived experience and still maintaining professional distance.
They do give you a list of guidelines that you should not be sharing with, personal information, sharing your personal, fight that you might have had with somebody that particular day. It's one thing if I choose to share my health information with them, my experience. If, let's say, my client happened to be a breast cancer survivor, we would have bonded over that. But my participants were not. I just shared that with them in the beginning, only to tell them how I came to the program. That was it.
The coaches generally agreed that boundaries were pretty clear and that rarely did anyone feel unsure about where the lines were between personal and professional. But there were some situations where extra caution was warranted. Remember Sabah, the international physician? She faced a unique boundary issue with participants knowing her medical background and seeking medical advice.
This is one of the unique challenges that I faced, and perhaps some of the other international physicians might face the same one, because the participants knew my background, so they were asking for medical advice, and I had to kind of, draw that boundary very gently in a polite manner that, hey, as a peer health coach, I'm not allowed to, share the medical advice, and this would be your licensed practitioner in Canada who would be giving you this advice.
These coaches aren't just learning techniques, they're examining their own positions and how that affects their relationships with participants. That level of self-awareness is crucial when you're supporting someone through vulnerable health changes. Here's Dr. Bender.
We really started to reflect on our own identities and our own privilege and the power that we may or may not have in certain circumstances, or which aspects of our identity may afford us power and aspects of our identity they may not, so that we can be much more reflective about the situations that the patients or the peers, the people that we're matched with, that they bring when they're coming into this new challenge of looking towards achieving some health goals and changing some health behaviors. Then we're a little bit more aware of the context surrounding how people may or may not be able to engage in these health behaviors over time.
Self-reflection here includes not just looking at how we relate, but also understanding how we don't relate. So yeah, there are times when coaches feel out of their depth. And that's when you have to utilize your support system. Christine shares a moment when she was matched with someone whose goal she couldn't personally identify with.
For several of my participants, I would look at their profile and say, okay, they want to exercise or they want to improve their diet. And for me, it was totally relatable. So the conversations with them were easy. But then I get this participant and yes, she wants to reduce alcohol consumption. And I don't drink. Since I got my cancer diagnosis, I just stopped drinking. So then I was like, oh my gosh, it was almost like I forgot all my training and I froze. So then I reached out to a cancer information specialist through the program, and she gave me advice on what to say and how to ask all these open-ended questions. I ended up using a lot of those questions that she gave me, and even just our initial conversation with the participant was a lot easier. I thought to focus on, okay, why does she want to focus on this goal? And it was for her to feel better, to feel more alert, to sleep better. And so then when I really focused on that, we started working together to kind of understand where she is now in terms of how much she was drinking per week, what she wanted to do, how realistic it was for her. And we just took it slowly. And honestly, this lady surprised me. Like, she was amazing.
Alcohol reduction comes up as a particularly challenging area. Lena acknowledges that some health goals require skills that go beyond the basic coaching training. And there's wisdom in recognizing your limits and focusing on what you can support.
Alcohol reduction is often a goal, and for some people it's a bit of a challenge. I think that requires a bit of skill that almost goes, in my opinion, goes almost beyond of what we've been coached or taught on.
Like Christine, Lena sought out advice from one of the specialists on the Better Women team, who provided some guidance.
As it was pointed out to me by a specialist, even if it's reduced at whatever level, it's still a win. So at whatever result we'll get will be good. But yeah, it's a challenging subject.
Life carries on even during these coaching relationships. Gunjan talks about how setbacks, both for coaches and participants, are just part of the process. She describes a participant who experienced a death in the family, and the coaching had to take a back seat for a short time. But they were able to reconnect and carry on.
When somebody tells you that they lost their mother, right? So then you cannot skip that part as well, because one of the motivational interviewing that you have to be empathetic as well, right? So that's what I always keep in my mind. So that's where we have a disconnect from past few weeks. But I have seen the more awareness they have. When we have a setback in life, then we just demotivate from that. So now what I'm thinking is I have to start from again. It is doable, it's achievable, that that they have awareness, they have improvements in terms of diet and how they are registering.
It's one thing to have good intentions, but a lot can get in the way over time. Things will inevitably get off track, but it's about accepting that and then returning to the plan when you're ready.
The confidence piece is huge. It's not just about achieving specific goals, it's about believing you can overcome setbacks in the future. Sabah has coached several participants through the 6-month program and has seen real transformation.
What I actually saw in all of my participants that I coached, starting from month one, and when I compared them from month one, day one, till the end of the coaching session, which is end of the 6th month, I truly could appreciate the level of confidence that they had in themselves. Before, they weren't sure that if they were able to achieve that goal, but the level of confidence that they had, even though, as Gunjan mentioned, setbacks do occur, but they knew at the end of the coaching, when the coaching finished, that they would be able to overcome those setbacks. And they were very confident about themselves.
And it doesn't happen overnight. Nalini talks about celebrating the small wins and helping people recognize that they're capable of doing more than they think.
I found with my clients that once you did the sort of the initial call, and then we set up a goal for the week, and then you would check in with them the following week, I found that they were really proud of whatever small goal it was. Because again, it wasn't anything that was so drastic. It was walking more, doing the stairs more. One of my participants, she wanted to eat vegetarian once a week for herself and her husband, but she just wanted to feel more confident in her physicality. So we went through parts of her day, which is actually quite a physical job from some of the things that she, told me that she did in a day. She's always squatting on the ground to pick up animals or deal with animals down on the ground. And I would try to show her, like, that is mobility. The fact that you can do that, consider that a win. You think you can't go to a yoga class or, do downward dog or touch your toes. But meanwhile, in your everyday life, you're already doing it.
So, positive reinforcement, reframing what they deem to be successful, acknowledging someone's reality. Really powerful steps to connecting and supporting change. Nalini shared the importance of momentum. Recognizing even the smallest of steps can help someone motivate themselves to face the next steps.
It gives them a sense of, oh, yeah, okay, well, I'm already here. Now I can put one foot in front of the other. And participants here are saying that, they had a bad week or something happened in their family and they, went off course a little bit. But it wasn't a reason to become, completely unmotivated and I can't do it. It was just, okay, it was a bit of a setback. Life happened. Let's regroup and get back on track. So I think really part of the peer health coaching, it's that accountability and that person that will just check in on a weekly basis and say, what happened this week? Let's talk about what happened. What do you feel good about? And that puts it in their mind, because when you feel good about something you've done, you feel more motivated to get out there and take the next step or just keep doing all the good things that you are doing. I'm not there to tell you what you're doing wrong, because I think the world tells everybody every day what you are doing wrong as a woman, a mother, a wife, whatever. If you're going to have a phone call with me, I want it to be positive and I want to cheer you on with wherever you are, on that particular day with the goals that you've set out.
That seemed to be a common theme, the cheerleading and also helping with momentum. One small win can lead to the next, which of course builds confidence. Here again is Christine.
What I really like to do, especially when a participant comes with multiple goals, I always ask them, okay, you have multiple here. What's your priority? What do you want to work on first? And it's almost like they get momentum on that one goal, and then they learn things, and then they realize that they can do things, and then moving on to the second goal is a lot easier.
In the Better Women program, the peer health coaches become quite skilled. Training is the foundation, then they apply it and keep learning and improving. And it was recognized by the Better Women team that it was critical to continue to support the peer health coaches throughout the journey, not only with the initial robust training, but also with ongoing supervision and with supporting them to build a community of practice.
Yep, and that's how the booster sessions fit in. Even when coaches felt their knowledge had increased, they still needed a bit of extra confidence and a way to share with and learn from each other. Here's Dr. Bender.
Community practice is really essential because while foundational training is key, if it's not coupled with ongoing education, supervision, and support, people may not have the ongoing support that they require to be effective in their role. So it's really, really critical. And so that was part of our original design, that we wanted to ensure that it wasn't just this initial training, that there was this ongoing support that was available. Overall, they felt that the training program was very comprehensive, and they felt that it was very effective, increasing their knowledge and skills. And when we evaluated the extent to which their knowledge and skills increased, we did see it increase across all competency domains. But what they told us was that even though our knowledge and our skill had increased, we were still a little bit nervous. And it was those booster sessions that really boosted our confidence. And I suspect the community practice really helped them to work through those practical as well as those relational experiences that they're going to have with their matches.
This enhanced support was essential for the coaches to help build their confidence, as Dr. Bender said, and also to improve communication and make coaching more effective. In fact, many of them said that the skills shifted from being something that they used while coaching to just being the way that they now communicate. Christine shared about moving away from always jumping in with solutions to asking more open-ended questions in all of her interactions.
You want to be relatable to people, but when you talk to friends and family, there's always that writing reflex that comes in, and you want to provide solutions. So this, through motivational interviewing, is all about evoking the solutions from them, right? And so that was what was really challenging for me, to really focus on that partnership, working together to find solutions, and really like extracting from them why they want to change, what's going to make it easy for them. and that was a muscle that I had to develop, asking these open-ended questions, and doing affirmations. And it sounds like this is really challenging for you, and summarizing what they're going through. So it just over time with different participants, it got a little easier. And now I kind of notice that I just naturally do it with people that I meet. They start talking about how I don't know, they just started swimming lessons, and then I ask them all these open-ended questions and why this was important to them, and then they come out of the conversation like, who was that lady? Had such a good conversation with her. People, they judge themselves so much, and they're not doing enough, or they could do more, and it's just like, no, you're great the way you are.
When you develop these coaching skills, it can be hard to turn them off. So, coaches learn that you need boundaries to protect yourself too. It's like having a superpower that you have to learn when to use. There's the risk of just coaching everyone all the time instead of having normal conversations. So, part of the training includes learning to have good boundaries, not only with people you're coaching, but also with friends and family. Lena raises an important point about the challenge of boundaries.
I think I've informally have been a coach to my friends and family for decades. So actually, through getting some structure kind of in this program and learning more and more about this, what I'm actually learning about is setting boundaries and how not to get lost in this and how to actually navigate and have your cup full. Otherwise, you just end up being like coaching everyone all the time and don't have like a normal conversation, because I go to that mode with almost everyone, and it's almost too much. I mean, people appreciate it, but for me it's a bit of a challenge.
So if someone is listening to this and thinking that they might want to become a peer health coach, what should they know? Well, we asked the coaches for some honest advice.
Yes, starting with Nalini.
I would say first of all, just to keep an open mind and to be prepared, because I thought it would just be this, not easy, but I didn't really put a whole lot of thought into if it was going to be, a difficult program. But there's a lot of information, and they put a lot of trust in you to work with people. Okay, this is not just some little volunteer thing where you're going to, it's going to be 20 minutes and you have something to put on a resume. You're really there trying to help people in the capacity in which you've been trained. And they put a lot of thought and effort and information in structuring the program. So to take it all in, it is actually a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of fun because you're able to connect with other women and build those relationships and have those friendships. But you have to be prepared for it. Yeah, it is. It's hard. I would say parts of it were a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
Lena emphasizes the learning curve. You need to come in ready to adapt and grow, and with some emotional intelligence already in your toolkit.
Be prepared to learn as you go along. Just be prepared to adapt and improve and seek advice from maybe other coaches or whatever research you do. Just like be prepared to learn, because I think it's not enough to come in and just only have the training. I think you might need a bit more down the road. And I think initially it requires a person who's probably quite giving and emotionally intelligent from the very beginning.
Here's Christine again with some great advice. Be compassionate with yourself. This work requires the same kindness inward that you're showing outward.
It's challenging. It's a commitment, but it is rewarding that you're able to impact these women's lives. I would say be compassionate with yourself. And it takes a while. It's not like you're going to get it right away. It takes practice, and reach out for advice, but be kind to yourself. I mean, we're coached to be kind to our participants, to be kind to yourself.
Yeah, I think that's advice we can all use. And here's Gunjan's perspective. It's so encouraging. She says if she can do it as someone new to this work, then anyone can learn these skills if they have compassion.
If I can do it, I think anyone can do it, but just you need that compassion. And yes, we are really making impact on other people's life, like which is very important, right? One of the part of the motivational, I think, interviewing was the reflection as well. So that is what I'm feeling. I'm always open for learning new things, and I'm learning from her as well. And yes, you're guiding them. So it's really it's a big thing. Actually, it is.
It is a big thing. Here's Sabah again. She didn't realize how profound her influence was until her participant reflected it back to her.
One of my participants actually told me at the end of 6 months, she told me, Saba, you are my angel. And I never think of myself, this way. I never thought that I would impact her life so much. But as I thought about her life history, she had no family. She was living alone in an apartment. She had no kids. She had no pets. Literally, she lost her parents very recently. And I might be her only friend that she talked to after every 2 weeks. And then once it started coming to my mind that this might be the reason why she's calling me her angel, I really felt a sense of relief and a sense of satisfaction that I enabled her to go through this tough time. And now she's feeling so confident that she can deal with all of these things by herself. So this is a message that I would really give to the peer health coaches who are about to join this program. I think even though we think that we might not be impacting these people, but the impact that these people are having in their lives, it might be so huge that our minds can't comprehend this because we are all living in different situations.
For closing thoughts on this episode, here's Christine Macri of the Canadian Cancer Society, bringing us full circle. It really is about celebrating those small wins that people tend to dismiss.
A lot of patients, and I'm sure like we're all guilty of this, when we have a goal and we achieve one little step towards our goal, to us, it's nothing. But the peer health coach was the one that said, like, you're one step closer than you were before. That's a big deal. And to celebrate the little wins. So that was something that the peer health coaches always recognize to their patients. Their patients like, yeah, I did accomplish that. And because I accomplished this one little thing, what's stopping me from doing another small thing and another small thing? And then eventually I will achieve my goal. And that's really why the peer health coaches were there.
What strikes me most hearing all these voices is just how this program really has the potential to create amazing and positive ripple effects. The peer health coaches grow and learn, participants gain confidence and skills, and as the impact continues to ripple outwards, families and communities become stronger and healthier.
It's the type of healthcare that recognizes we're not just bodies with symptoms. We're whole people living complex lives. And it can be so powerful having someone walk alongside you who truly gets it.
Thank you so much for joining us. Next episode, the results are in.
See you next time.
This series on the Better Women Project was brought to you by Matters of Engagement in collaboration with the Canadian Cancer Society and the Better Women Research Team at Women's College Hospital.
And special thanks for editorial and administrative support provided by Karen Kuzmich, Christina Macri, and Shabina Amlani at the Canadian Cancer Society, and to Natasha Kathulagoda at Women's College.
And a big thank you to all our guests on this episode. Dr. Jackie Bender, lead scientist for training, curriculum, and implementation for the Better Women Project, Christina Macri, senior specialist in cancer prevention, Canadian Cancer Society, and all the featured peer health coaches, Lena Palmer, Christine Brukaleri, Gunjan Gupta, Nalini Sharma, and Sabad Tausif. This episode was written and produced by Jennifer Johannesson and Emily Nicholas Engel. For a transcript of this episode and for more information, please visit our website at mattersofengagement.com.
The end of the Canadian Cancer Society's CIBC Run for the Cure is just the beginning, because the funds raised through the run continue to fuel life-saving breast cancer research, enable clinical trials that improve outcomes and bring you hope, and help patients every step of the way with vital support services. Join us October 5th and make an impact that lasts far beyond. Sign up at cibcrunforthecure.com.